you walk by a shop, and maybe you like what's the shop has, but there's no one inside, you know.
Yeah, or a restaurant.
So yeah, or a restaurant,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
But if there's people inside,
It tells you it's
your
good.
yeah, your brain kind of tricks you to tell you it's good.
Yeah, it's cool because there's a ton of like Patreons and stuff going around in drum and bass now, and one-to-one sessions are often part of a Patreon, and you're never entirely sure how much the person like enjoys teaching or is good at teaching, or is it just like part of a Patreon and like a tier. But like from your point of view, yeah, you've been teaching since you were like a kid, so it makes sense to have it in your Patreon.
You could say that. But yeah, it's funny. Like teaching has been an important part of my life now for the past 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And it's fun. Like I said, I explained all those things in detail, and I try to give people my view on it. And sometimes I even think that can be boring for them, because people want to learn how to make the sickest bass, or they want to learn how to make the sickest tune and all of that. But I think you need to go in steps. You need to learn.
And you're talking about sine waves and thresholds and stuff.
Yeah.
That's cool. Staying on like the Patreon side, because that's something I wanted to talk to you about, because you have quite a successful Patreon. You have like 150 people in there.
Mm-hmm.
As somebody who like just launched his Patreon earlier this month for the podcast, I'm aspiring to get the same numbers as you one day. So obviously it's different. Like me, it's more like a support around the podcast and not so much around music. But tell me a bit about like when you launched the Patreon, and how did you make it so successful? Do you have any tips for other people who might be thinking about Patreon or kind of struggling?
Yeah, so at the time when I started the Patreon, it was funny because I created the Patreon way before the pandemic started, but I never really announced it or anything. It was just sitting there, It was just sitting there because I wanted to give it a try, and I saw a lot of content creators were using it at the time, but I didn't really care too much about it. And then the COVID hit, and everyone suddenly had Patreon. And I was like, hey, maybe it's time to actually use what I've spent some time creating that, so maybe it's actually best to use it. So I started it, and I remember announcing it for the first time, and no one joined. So it's normal, no one joined for like 2 or 3 days, and then I got an email, someone joined. It was a friend of mine, personal friend who's into drum and bass as well. Basement, he produces under Basement, is released on Focus.
Okay.
Counterpoint, and he texted me. He's like, "Hey, check your email." I was like, "Hey, nice, man, thank you." That's pretty sick. You're the first one.
Yeah.
And so it's cool because that psychology thing, whereas you walk by a shop, and maybe you like what's the shop has, but there's no one inside,
Yeah, or a restaurant.
So yeah, or a restaurant, exactly.
Yeah.
But if there's people inside,
it tells you it's good.
Your brain kind of tricks you to tell you it's good. So as soon as I had them, like a couple hours after, someone else joined, and then someone else joined, and then I had 6 or 7 pages. Like, what? In like 2 days. So I launched this thing, and for like 2 or 3 days I had no one, and then suddenly I have 6 or 7 people. And then I was thinking about that thing. It was like, hey, I'm gonna have my dad be my patron, and get it to 10, maybe get someone else, but that wasn't needed. My dad actually joined, but that wasn't needed because at the same day more people joined, and then I got to 10 patrons on the day after. So I got 10 patrons. This is so sick. It really was. And but then it kind of stopped. I had 10, and then sometimes I would go 13, and then people left. So I was around that 10 mark. And then I'm trying to think what happened then. I remember talking to Pete from Overview, and he was launching his Patreon for Overview as well, and we were talking about like having a little brainstorm of patrons on the phone, and and he told me like, hey, but you know, like it's important that people know about it. That's the main thing, you know, that's the most important thing. And that really hit me. It's like, yeah, no one's gonna join if they don't know it exists.
Yeah,
You know. So I just invested a lot into getting it, people to know it. So that was probably the main thing that I took out from that conversation. So I made all these promo videos. I used little snippets of the tutorials and posted them online. So like little clips, like little teases and things. And I was constantly, almost every day, doing a new post. And then stuff was picking up. And then I was asking for reviews. I don't know why Patreon doesn't let you have a review.
There isn't. No.
Why can you not like review people
Yeah.
in Patreon? It makes no sense. Like, it's supposed to be this community thing, right? So why can you not like help that community by just giving a 5-star or 4-star review? Because the reviews really help. So yeah, like it gives, you know, like when I'm buying something online or something, if there's no reviews, I'm probably not buying it.
Yeah, it's credibility.
Yeah, it just gives it credibility, especially on Amazon and those kinds of places. So yeah, I know that whenever I posted reviews, that's when I had the biggest increase in numbers. So yeah, it kind of went from there, and then I done bigger videos, and then I got more reviews, and then like we were talking at the beginning, drum and bass is this closed circle. And it is the same for the fans. A lot of people know each other, and then it gets to word of mouth, I think. I don't do the same amount of promotion that I did, and that shows because I got to the 200 mark at some point. I think it was in April or May that I got more than 200, and I don't really promote it that much now, because I don't want to get to a point where maybe I'm not able to you know, it's a lot of people, so you need to do it.
And you have a Discord, and you want to manage that as well and be present there. And
exactly. I want to be on Discord, exactly, and all those different things. So I don't promote it that much now, because I'm very comfortable with the numbers that I have, like the amount of people subscribed. I'm very happy. Obviously, like it. You know, like in economics, we learned this thing, which probably doesn't translate like this for English, but I'm just going to translate the word like marginality.
Marginal value is like less and less.
Yeah, exactly. So let's say
I also
like
did economics.
Yeah, exactly. So you eat 1 apple, that's good. You eat 2, that's good. You eat 3, that's good. You eat the 4th, maybe that's not so good anymore. You know, like
you get less value with each more.
Yeah, exactly. You get less value with each. And that's the same for sales and everything. So yeah, so if you did economics, you obviously know what I'm talking about. And I think that's the same for Patreon. It gets to a certain point. I want to be able to keep this personal. You know, I reply to every message on Patreon. That's very easy. It sends you an email, so you just need to go through your email every day. I reply to everyone on Discord, which that's a lot more a lot harder to manage. And I want to keep it like that, you know. I don't want to have like 400 or 500 patrons and then not be able to commit to those people. I like that it's personal. I really like that. So yeah, I'm very comfortable with it. And you know, just screaming in people's faces that I have a patron was the obvious thing that made me like grow. And then obviously the content needs to be good, and then also the little teasers and snippets also helped, and as well showing reviews also helped as well. But I think the guys over at Patreon, they could do so much more. Like there's a lot of things that the platform could have to make them easier for content creators. So I remember they had this beta test for something which is kind of like so you would partner with another content creator, and people on your Patreon, they would have a discount to join theirs. But for that month they could see the content on the other patron, so they have that month basically for free.
Yeah, like
because you're partnered. Yeah, because you're partnered, so you can see if it's valuable for you or not. And then you have a discount if you want to join. Like they did this, and everyone loved it.
Yeah, that's really good. That's an amazing idea.
Yeah, everyone loved it, especially in German base. Like everyone has a Patreon. You know?
Yeah,
so
you can check out the sample packs and stuff and see.
Yeah, exactly that. And everyone loved it in the community, and they just said, no, you know what, just scrap it. They usually test a lot of good things. Like if you just go through the Patreon community forum where they talk about tests and all that, they test a lot of cool stuff that a lot of people like, and then they eventually don't do it. Yeah.
Maybe you have to go and work at Patreon then. With your management degree, you could make some changes.
Maybe, who knows?